hospital industry, guys, though, is leading the fight against, surprise, surprise, Medicare for All. So investor-owned hospitals, interesting name because we were talking about this before the show, are leading the fight against the creation of comprehensive universal healthcare system, according to corporate filings reviewed by MapLight. Tent Healthcare, and the nation's third largest investor-owned operator of hospitals, has donated nearly $630,000 to the Partnership for America's Healthcare Future, or PAHCF, a dark money organization created last year to erode public support for Medicare for All, a government-run plan that would provide health care for all Americans. PAHCF's membership roster includes dozens of health, insurance, pharmaceutical, and hospital trade groups and companies. Much of the criticism of the effort to block Medicare for All has centered around insurance and pharmaceutical interests, but corporate records highlight the integral role that the for-profit hospital industry has played in drumming up the opposition to healthcare reforms. In August, the liberal politics and public policy magazine American Prospect wrote that Democrats proposing healthcare reforms lack the courage to name one major obstacle to getting any meaningful reform done: the hospitals and Medicare providers who create the most costs in the system by a wide margin. Indeed, common hospital procedures like knee replacement and childbirth deliveries cost significantly more in the U.S. than in any other country. Guys, I thought we had a great healthcare system here. I mean, come on.
Hey, well, if you make all the Advil cost $100 each, you can see why it gets that expensive.
Hospitals are a big piece of a common nightmare for patients, obliquely known as surprise billing, that occurs when a person visits a facility that's included in their insurance work and is treated by an out-of-network provider. The massive bill, of course, is only a surprise to the patient. The hospital industry has warned that Medicare for All could affect the revenue and cause facilities to close. First of all, fuck you, because you have no right to fucking deny people quality health care. When you're sick in this country, you should get help. You don't hear this problem in Canada or in Great Britain or Germany or Norway or anywhere else. But yet it's a problem here in this country. We have money for the Joint Strike Fighter. We have money for numerous wars. We have money to help out the corporations when they screw up. We have money to bail Wall Street out. We don't have money for infrastructure. We don't have money for medical debt relief. We don't have money for student debt relief. We don't have money to help out the working class people in this country. And yet the hospital industry now has the audacity, and dare I say it, the quote-unquote courage, to come up with this plan saying, we got to stop Medicare for All, or otherwise it's going to be bad news for us. It's only bad news for their profits. They profit off of everyone being sick. Look, to quote Bernie Sanders, again, because he's correct on this issue, and we got to drill it in everyone's head, every year, 500,000 Americans go bankrupt in this country because they're given these ridiculous bills. That's one of the leading causes of homelessness in this country. You know, I love my city. I love Chicago. This is my home. But you know, I'm seeing a lot more tent cities underneath the bridges and viaducts. I'm seeing a lot more people out there in the streets. And one of the leading causes, again, is not because they're a bad person or they don't like to work. Medical bills. One bad day. One bad day in this country and you lose everything. It says a lot about this great bastion of liberty and freedom. And yet these same healthcare insurance agencies just want to, stop Medicare for All. So the article goes on to further say that basically the PHFC and their other friends and allies are basically working together with other colleagues in Washington, D.C. to come up with more propaganda, and mind you, more propaganda during this primary to stop any talk of Medicare for All. Now, I believe in Bernie Sanders' message of reforming our system. But if you think any other candidate has what it takes to really fight for Medicare for All, they don't. It's Bernie Sanders all the way, through and through. And we really need to make everyone understand that this is a real issue. It is something that's impacting a lot of Americans. I'm seeing Paul on the mic, so Paul, take it away.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about it's Bernie Sanders' issue. He's the guy to push it through. He wrote the damn bill, right?
Yeah, he did.
And that's the thing. I hit the wrong. Hi.
I've been
hi,
saying
Daniel.
hi. I'm just smiling and nodding.
Let's hand it over to Paul DuPont.
I pushed the right button this time. That's
Yes.
the button
That's
that
it,
I meant
yep.
to push. Really good at this.
We are live, folks.
But yeah, Bernie wrote the damn bill. So that's an important point to bring home. But also, this strikes me as, the article's written as though, the hospitals are they're the ones that don't like Medicare for All. And I'm like, well, first of all, right, private hospitals and hospitals traded on stock market, large corporate, these are not doctors and nurses and chiefs of staff at the hospital who are like, you know what, you know who's going to lose out? Us doctors are going to lose out with this Medicare for all. These are administrators. This is the business wing. These are the investor types, right? Your hedge funders who, your big, your big hospital developer administrator type. They're the ones who are like, meh, I have such good relationships with Gary over there at Aetna Healthcare. What's going to happen with all of the sweet deals that we have to overpay him for the medications that we exclusively use? I like charging $600 for Band-Aids.
But Paul, to quote our great mayor or former great mayor who's doing such a good job, Mayor Rahm Emanuel, who's now on every single TV show, especially talking with all the pundits, he's basically saying no one's running up to him saying that, hey, get rid of my health insurance. The health insurance industry, the pharmaceutical industry is crippling Americans. We are stuck with insurmountable debt. And we have a country that's basically saying that it's okay. We have a government that's saying that it's okay to bleed the American people dry. What does it say about our system? What does it say about our elected officials? This is, once again, thanks to money in politics. We have to get involved in this 2020 election cycle. If we don't, it's going to get worse. And look, again, I hate saying this, and I hope it doesn't happen to anybody watching this. I hope it doesn't happen to anybody on this show. But one bad day, you could lose everything in this country.
So I want to add on a final point on this. And this is that specifically in the article they said that that it could lead to us shutting down hospitals. Let's break down what that means. Does it mean that Medicare for All forces hospitals to run in such a way that they can't afford their costs? No, it doesn't. Does it mean that Medicare for All will add so much labor and time into managing itself that there won't be time for patients? No, it doesn't. It means that investors whose entire job is to say, I want to find something that I can put my $100 million into and get to $200 million as fast as possible. I'm going to diversify my portfolio so that I hedge my risks. But my goal is to increase that accounting number as fast as possible. And if you make Medicare for All a thing, well, hospitals simply wouldn't be relevant in that calculation because they wouldn't be functionally done and run to make money because that's pulled out of it. So what it would mean is that they still have profit that they can make, but it's not going to be your quarterly, I need 3% more than I got in the last 90 days profit. It's not going to be, hey, I got $100 million in revenue last 90 days. I need 103 today, and I need just over 106 in another 90 days. It won't be that high of a margin. So for an investor, they will close it down, not because it's not profitable, not because they can't keep going, but because a patient's life simply isn't worth the accounting that they could get somewhere else. That's how it is. And you tell me that the people who aren't thinking compassionately are people trying to vote for Medicare for All, and it's the people that are voting compassionately are the people that will abandon the lives of other human beings because the margin just isn't good enough.